Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bechstein. For over 100 years, upright and grand pianos have been built here. At Bechstein as a whole since 1853. Some 180 staff members, mostly piano technicians and carpenters, manufacture upright and grand pianos of the premium series C. Bechstein and the high-range Bechstein Academy series. Please follow me and take a look into the heart of the grand piano. Bechstein has a foundation which we have for the most part standardized. Its name is quality. This Bechstein standard demands that all the materials we employ are rigorously inspected with regard to their properties and function, as well as their relative tonal possibilities, which we require for the enrichment of the product itself. Wood is the main material from which pianos are made. Hardwoods have a supporting and mechanical function. The resilient woods, such as spruce, are used for keys and soundboards. Well, one of the most important materials required is wood, in this case pine and beech, essentially European wood from conventional ecologically sound forestry. Although we follow a rigorous selection process choosing the woods regarding quality and durability, all aspects of minimum waste and maximal usage of natural resources are our constant guide. Wood is a very valuable material, indispensable for our instruments, particularly for quality. It is an element which we give our utmost attention to. After all, quality pays off. The basis of Bechstein is fundamental and clear. This means that we have to continue to foster the handcrafting capabilities developed over decades, or better said, over centuries. We are convinced that this tradition can only be continued here in this part of Germany. Here we have the people who in fact closely identify themselves with their craft, actually with the musical instrument itself. They pour their heart and soul into it. This part of Germany enjoys great continuity. The people are deeply rooted in this area and have formed a strong bond with this product. Therefore, they take pride in what they do. The structure of suppliers is also convenient. In fact, all the materials essential to our manufacture reach us within the distance of about 2 driving hours.
In einem Umfeld von 2 Autostunden. Ein weiteres Bauteil für
Another piano part, very important for the tone, is the so-called bridge. In this case, the red beech body and hornbeam cap. This material in solid wood guarantees the best transfer of vibrations to the soundboard through the bridge, enabling all partials and elements of tone color to emerge, allowing the piano to sing.
Dieses Instrument dann zum Klingen zu bringen. Morgen.
The inner and outer grand piano rim is composed of different woods, which are coated with glue and then inserted in a special press where they are bent into shape over many hours. The result is the rim and the cabinet, which is also the final form of the grand piano. Numerous layers of wood are glued together using high pressure to achieve a stable shape. This in fact provides stability, supporting the iron frame and cabinet. It is indeed a system of controlled tension, balancing the total sonority of the instrument and augmenting its projection of sound. Only after we achieve a synthesis of all the tradition and experience we made in the past, then couple it with current technical possibilities, can we indeed create a prosperous future. This is in fact a narrow path which we repeatedly walk. For it, we need the highly trained craftsmen and women and the master who has learned the trade from bottom to top. We furthermore employ machines and efficient electronic tools which are essential for the fulfillment of basic work processes. These are precise and cost-effective methods, even beyond those of handcrafting. This synthesis of highest effectivity and quality in basic production, coupled on all subsequent levels of manufacture with top-notch handcrafting specialists, results in a masterpiece. We are now in the area in which solid woods are worked upon. Here is the belly rail, a transverse part of the rim joining the base with the treble section. It is made of solid beech coupled with pine layers of wood, which produces a variety of frequencies of tonal support of the piano. This is also an important element for the resilience of the soundboard, or the heart of the piano. It generates and augments the total body of the sound basis. Our work on these parts is always done by computer-controlled tools and machines, so that exactness and precise fitting are warrants for quality. The rim is made of a mixture of hard and resilient woods. It carries the sound body and supports the cast iron frame. It is tightly bonded with the cabinet. Now then, here the rims are made and assembled, which actually means that the rim prestiform, as we have just seen, is joined here to the belly rail. All other parts belonging to the rim are assembled and glued at this point. Here, the wood joints have a high grade of resistance to pressure and tension. They warrant a solid structure for the instrument, supporting the tension generated by the taut piano strings. When making the rim, we pay attention to numerous criteria. First of all, the selection and specification of the materials themselves, in particular woods, which must be supportive of the vibrations or tonal functions of the instrument. The rim posts of the C. Bechstein grand pianos are manufactured by hand crafting, custom cut, and the ends are dovetailed in shape. When producing the Bechstein Academy, however, more procedures are done using computer-controlled machines. In both cases, the fit is precise. The glue joints are supported by dowels fitted at specific angles, joining rim and posts. A solid structure stabilizing tensions and strain of the instrument and its functions. A crucial part of the piano is the bridge. Here we see a preliminary long bridge, a molding blank which was first worked upon in our wood department, then cut to size and milled to its final form on a computer-controlled machine, which was developed by our own engineers. Here, the bridge cap is notched. The pinholes are drilled at specific angles, and then the pins are inserted, offering a precision which practically cannot be matched by hand crafting. Once glued onto the soundboard, as we can see here, the bridge provides harmonized stability for the soundboard and its ribs, making up the sum of vibration transferring elements which will totally support development of tone and its projection.
Und eben das Übertragungselement, dass wir nachher den Ton voll unterstützt vom Boden wiederbekommen.
The resonating board of C. Bechstein Concert and of Bechstein Academy grand pianos are engineered, selected, and glued in accordance with proven criteria, resulting in a broad dynamic range of tone color.
Guten Morgen.
Now we see the rim at the further stage of manufacturing, where all the steps in preparation for the installation of the soundboard have been completed. Rib pockets and the soundboard gluing area are routed at specific angles to match the soundboard crown. In fact, we see here the counterpart or soundboard itself with ribs and bridge. This soundboard will be glued onto the rim, which we have just seen. The soundboard or heart of the piano is made of the finest mountain-grown spruce from levels above 800 meters. The ribs are of the same material. They cross the grain of the soundboard and support it, make it resilient yet resistant to string pressure. Here we see the soundboard from the side. Its crown shape, specific dimensions, and form will support and project the tone. Since its establishment in 1853, Bechstein keeps archives of practically endless lists of entries. We are today at production number 193,000. We even have information about those pianos which were shipped in 1853. We believe that throughout the world today, about 110,000 to 120,000 Bechstein pianos can be found in various places. Our frames are sand-cast and engineered for specific frequency ranges, contributing to the total range of the tone scale typical to the C. Bechstein and Bechstein Academy piano. The cast iron frame is also an essential part of the piano. Sand casting provides us the required stability against pressure and bending. It warrants low fundamental frequencies, complementing the tone. The frame is bolted into the rim, anchored against bending. It therefore easily bears the many tons of traction force generated by the strings. We work on the frames in many steps. Here it is coated with a filler. Then the drilling of holes for the tuning pins, the hitch pins, and for other parts is done. It also has to be milled. We do this work with precision tools on computer-controlled machines, which are joined through channels of communication. The resulting precision is absolute. It is the basis for quality, which in fact will be 100%. When handcrafting and technology join forces, and when they are implemented judiciously, quality is inevitable. Efficiency is a matter of fact. The total cost effectivity thus achieved is not only limited to the manufacturer, but also for the benefit of the purchaser. In short, each hour saved due to machine work gives us more time for the handcrafting needed in the later manufacturing stages, such as intricate work on tone and touch, which is a most valuable investment. The final product is then the result of an intelligently made musical instrument whose performance is a winner in longevity and quality. In this area, we work on the acoustic body. Once the soundboard has been glued onto the rim, the frame is fitted to the sound body for the first time. The composition of rim, soundboard, cast iron, and frame create the vital organism of the piano. The grand piano cabinet is united with the rim. It defines the form and periphery of the soundboard. Its dimension and density are decisive for projection of tone. C. Bechstein is a company which respects human and ecological resources, doing its utmost not to burden the environment. We employ all available protective measures for environmental preservation and regeneration. We use the most modern technological systems with a threefold filtering of emissions. We recycle materials, energy, and also heat with an exhausted or filtered airflow. In this department, we do lacquering and cabinet finishing. Polyester lacquer is sprayed here in a specific number of coats. After numerous seasoning periods and fine differentiated sanding, the lacquer develops into a robust and brilliant finish, pleasant to the eye. At the same time, the surface serves for the projection of high frequencies of tone. For a manufacturer to be able to sustain business today and also to generate it for the future, he needs a solid and yet dynamic foundation. You constantly need to review the product and the possibilities to improve it, to refine it. At times, new methods must be implemented as a result of research and development. Here in our German Center of Competence and Know-how, we have an R&D department where 5 engineers are constantly checking, testing and researching procedures, current materials and the precision of the product. After all, we are fanatics for precision and innovation. The engineers work very closely with the master piano makers who have great experience, who not only make pianos, but who also do concert service and therefore know what our pianos can and what they are expected to do under the most rigorous professional conditions. The expectations of the artist must be fulfilled. From this exchange and dialogue between engineer and master technicians, new ideas lead to new possibilities, to either refine or re-engineer an existing piano model or to develop and engineer a new one. In the last 10 years, we have completely re-engineered our C. Bechstein concert series. In addition, we have developed the new Bechstein Academy series to meet the demands of the current market. We have thereby very successfully challenged the current competitive price-value relationships and set a new standard. We are now in one of our main areas of expertise, which is our R&D department. Here each idea and experience is gathered, evaluated and documented in such a way which allows us to test and go through variations or possibilities, to elaborate and calculate details of what we already do and what we could do in the future. Each engineering and manufacturing parameter is scrutinized and put to the most rigorous test. Here test series are developed and synergy effects in superior piano engineering and piano making are investigated again and again. It is an ongoing dynamic quest to achieve the best. It is like a symphony of knowledge transferred and implemented with know-how and realized through technology and handcrafting. The golden tone frame bronzing results from painstaking sanding and finest lacquering procedures. Agraffes, made of superb materials in excellent manufacturing processes, define the speaking length of the strings. To put it very simply, the Bechstein criteria which play a role for its standard are quality, longevity, and a tone whose properties will be valid over time. An overall technical achievement, a superb musical instrument, a precision instrument which will function without fail or problems for decades to come, regardless of the climate or location, always fulfilling the demands and the expectations of its users, responding fully to their personal musicianship and their individual ways of playing.
Oder auch trotz unterschiedlicher Bedürfnisse, wie wird dieses Instrument genutzt und gespielt.
The strings are hung behind the bridge and brought to tension and specific frequencies of tone by tightening or loosening the tension of the tuning pin. Precision of the tuning pin structure and its torque are decisive for quality of tuning. Tunings carried out over several time intervals within the manufacturing process lead to tuning stability. We now enter an area of much greater tension. The acoustic body is now completed and connected with the cast iron frame, which is now surface finished or bronze lacquered. Now the strings are installed, the special steel music wire made for high tensions. The copper-wound steel core strings are for the low registers or the bass section. The time-tested calculation of the stringing scales according to successful Bechstein recipes for each single tone or in conjunction with its neighbors. Here is the treble section. where each tone consists of 3 individual strings, just like the middle section. Each has its own specific sound character, its own nuances, and its very own subtleties. Each is a rich and colorful spectrum of tone. This musical instrument is also a system of tension and traction. Just think of it, a total of 20 tons, for which great stability and longevity are an absolute prerequisite. After drying for 3 to 4 weeks, the parts are sanded and then polished to a high-gloss finish. To give you an idea, the lacquer, which is either sprayed or poured, has a total coating thickness of 1 millimeter. After gradual sanding, however, it is reduced by almost half to about 0.5 or 0.6 millimeters. This reduction of thickness reduces lacquer stress. It enormously increases durability, resilience, and stability against cracks due to heat or cold. Our main production site is here in Seif-Hennersdorf. Here we have invested about 17 million euros in 14 years. The manufacturing and technical standards thereby achieved are state-of-the-art for present and future. Further investments will be done in smaller steps. The staff of about 180 people have no difficulty in sharing our future visions and goals in a Europe of great change and social and political restructuring. The piano has an inner life of its own, which we call its soul. This soul is made up of the sound body with all its parts, such as soundboard, rim, and bridge on the one hand. On the other hand, it is composed of the keyboard and action or playing assembly. With this playing mechanism of levers, we bring the instrument to life. Behind the fallboard or key cover of the grand piano is the back lever of the key, the action of precision levers comprising of hammer action, damper action, and keys. The installation of this action is an individual one-to-one custom fitting engineered for precision and subtlety of playing. We are now in an area in which we place much greater, more evolved expectations on the piano. Here we can see individual keys, the first action elements, which are parts with which the playing or touch mechanism is custom assembled. The individual parts are precast for us to our exacting and most rigorous specifications. They are then inspected and once approved, refined and elaborated. After having been assembled to fulfill the custom fit of that specific piano, it results in a precision keyboard and action assembly. The pedals can also be termed as a lever action for the precise operation of dampers, sostenuto and una corda or action shift functions. Even movements of the pedal at the fraction of a millimeter allow the player to produce nuances of tonal variation. We are able to fulfill the wishes of the individual customer by maintaining a constant dialogue, be it with the pianists, teachers, or professors, simply put, with musicians. This dialogue permits us to understand and anticipate what the individual customer expects from us, what he expects from his musical instrument, a tool to express his musical visions. It is a question of diverse musical tastes and styles, the individual personal aspects which want to be satisfied. Each C. Bechstein and Bechstein Academy key, as well as individual parts of the hammer action, are precisely adjusted to ascertain the action's individual function as well as its function in course with other parts. They must be exact and must work without any great effort. Here is a complete keyboard and action assembly at a stage just prior to fine adjustment or regulation. A most complex structure or mechanism of the piano in which each lever, each spring, each element of this intricate assembly must be precisely adjusted, both individually and to one another. It is not simply a question of millimeters, but in fact fractions thereof. The most important aspect of this process is a tactile ability, the experienced fingers or tactile senses of our master craftsmen and women. To illustrate this, we can say that the player implements a specific amount of energy on the key, depresses it at a specific speed. This activates the action levers, which in turn cause the hammer to hit the strings. the player can subtly adjust or manipulate this playing process and thereby create the desired sound, be it soft or loud, quick or slow, using the specific frictions caused by the finely adjusted action parts and springs. Whether it is a question of adjusting each and every part of the action so that it works as a whole or individually, or the weighting and balancing of each key so that each key has a touch proportional to that of its neighbor, the work must be done by hand. Many hours are invested in this work, which is repeated at a number of production stages so that the player will at the end have a precision mechanism accompanying him or her for years. A consistent quality and stability allowing for interpretation of music repertories in desired intensity, in all registers of tone, with a palette of tone colors. I would say as though the instrument were the player's partner in dialogue. This is a product which is closely related to feelings. It requires a lot of personal engagement of its maker and the attitude or awareness that the end result is a product of very high value. We have many employees whose families have worked with this product over generations. They send us their children or successors to be trained as piano makers. By training apprentices in piano making, we are in fact securing the future of the company and its manufacturing quality standards. Voicing is a synonym for shaping or forming the piano voice. It means to shape or form the piano tone for all needs and possibilities of the human ear. Once the piano strings have been tuned numbers of times, and once they reach stability, each individual note must be analyzed. Its related hammer must be shaped, be it physically as well as dynamically, into the desired form and sound. The entire potential of the sound body and of each hammer must be recognized, uncovered, and set free. The process in question is called voicing. Voicing entails filing the hammerhead in form and shape, needling the hammerhead in order to transform or displace its energy into the desired dynamic areas. It also means fitting and filing the hammer striking point to the set of strings. A truly intricate job requiring not only know-how, but also a lot of dexterity, musicality, and years of training and experience. Those who do this job must have stamina and patience. They must be able to uncover, bring forth, and shape the entire scale of sound potential of the individual piano, of each individual hammer, and key which he or she is in the process of voicing. There is indeed a character of tone specific to Bechstein, which can easily be explained as follows. The Bechstein tone is clearly defined, it is transparent, without harshness, there are no metallic, brassy sonorities or effects. This tone should in fact open up like a flower bud and emit many different colors of tone, so that the player can identify himself with it and feel the rich, dynamic sound in all its minute shadings and partials. Beyond its touch and tonal functions or properties, the piano has numerous parts. Their function, form, and finish have to complement each other and must be beautiful to look at.
Na, wie geht's? Das freut mich. Hallo, mein Lieber.
The working bench of a carpenter who custom fits the external parts of the piano is equipped with many tools for lots of detail work. Here is the final stage to prepare the piano in even the smallest detail. Everything is inspected at least 20 times. A total of about 500 working hours, almost 200 people involved, about 20 comprehensive stages of inspection have led to what we see here. This piano will now be assembled for shipment. We are certain that the result of what we have done, indeed a product for which we give comprehensive warranty, is the legitimate bearer of the Bechstein brand name.
Mit Fug und Recht sagen können, dieses Produkt trägt den Namen Bechstein.
Bechstein, the maker of pianos, has a responsibility to consider not only economical but also cultural aspects, fostering and supporting them as much as possible. Bechstein centers and partner dealers share a mutual philosophy, which is, in addition to offering an excellent selection of pianos at highest technical standards, to support musical training, starting with early musical training of children and up to young musicians or professional performers. We are able to offer our broad experience to younger generations if we first help awaken their interest for this unique musical instrument. You could say that, although it is one of our primary concerns as a manufacturer to be economically sound and successful, we consider ourselves to be a cultural ambassador.
Eine Art kleiner Kulturbotschafter neben dem Bereich, dass wir uns wirtschaftlich auch gut darstellen müssen.
In this area, we find the finished piano in different finishes, sizes, and styles. Here the piano is thoroughly inspected and the sound is finely adjusted. We even have the possibility, to some extent, to simulate bigger or smaller acoustic situations. Here we can finally adjust all aspects in a different atmosphere, under other acoustic conditions. This means checking, refining, adjusting. It is not considered as being an additional burden. After all, we want to achieve longevity and awaken enthusiasm.
Denn wir wollen Dauerhaftigkeit und Begeisterung. Die letzte Stufe.
The last step is packing the piano for shipment somewhere in the world. This piano has found an owner and thereby, no doubt, a true friend. Ownership of a Bechstein piano is often considered as a musical friendship for decades, filled with musical joy, satisfaction, and enthusiasm. Well, ladies and gentlemen, together we have taken a tour through the Bechstein piano factory and witnessed its manufacturing process. Many hands, many steps and tasks, repeated selection and refinement of materials in many ways. What appears to be a complex ensemble of parts and materials is in fact, at the end, a unique musical instrument, indeed a masterpiece. It will give you sound and music. It will awaken your musical feelings, your musical soul. Thank you and goodbye. The brand Bechstein is widely known in Germany and throughout Europe. For the next 10 to 20 years, it is our aim to make the Bechstein brand just as famous in America and the rest of the world. This will give Bechstein an even better position with greater stability and prosperity for the future.
Besseres kann uns im Augenblick nicht passieren.